Welcome to The Deep Dive, your shortcut to getting smart on complex topics fast. We pack it with surprising facts, maybe a little humor too. Today, we're doing something a bit different. We're taking this really deep, chilling plunge into some key sources excerpts from Stephen King's The Shining and its sequel, Doctor Sleep. Our mission, go way beyond just the plot summary. We want to unmask the psychological stuff, the really terrifying things that happen, and the lasting impact of, well, one of fiction's most infamous haunted places, the Overlook Hotel, and specifically how it grabbed hold of the Torrance family. We think we'll uncover some things that might make you rethink what you know about this place.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating how a place, just bricks and mortar, can become a character, right? An entity with its own, dark will.
Yeah.
So for this deep dive, we're looking at more than just a ghost story. It's like a psychological pressure cooker.
Yeah.
We'll see how the Overlook works on people, shapes them, messes with them. It really shows how folks are hit by, external pressures and their own inner demons. Addiction, trauma passed down through families, psychic gifts. It all gets tangled up. It really blurs that line between, say, mental breakdown and actual supernatural evil.
That's a great point to start with, blurring the lines. So let's set the scene for this breakdown. A family on their last legs, basically, taking this one last shot at a fresh start, and they have no idea what they're walking into, historically speaking. We're talking about Jack Torrance's interview for the winter caretaker job. You can almost feel how desperate he is, sitting there with Stuart Ullman. Ullman, the manager Jack, instantly thinks of him as an officious little prick.
Right, and it's obvious Ullman doesn't really want Jack, not personally.
No, he kind of looks down on him. But he's stuck, isn't he? Because of a board member, Albert Shockley.
Exactly. He's forced into it.
Yeah.
And that desperation in Jack, that need for the job, for maybe some redemption, it's just radiating off him.
Yeah, it really is.
And Ullman's attitude is almost like foreshadowing. Because the Overlook's past is seriously dark, long before Jack gets there. Ullman himself lays some of it out, almost casually. How the hotel kept changing hands, losing money for decades, only recently getting into the black. He mentions Horace Derwent, this millionaire who sunk a fortune into it after World War II, made it a showplace.
Okay.
But then later on, you get these shadier groups involved, like High Country Investments, characters straight out of, I don't know, a gangster flick. Charles Grandin, Baby Charlie, Battaglia. This guy had a rap sheet for gangland murders going back to the 30s.
Wow. So not just ghosts, but actual organized crime connections.
Precisely. It establishes this foundation of, inherent rottenness. Crime, corruption, bad things happening there way before any ghosts are mentioned. It's like the place was already stained by human evil.
So you've got this building soaked in bad history, and then you add the isolation factor, which extreme.
Yeah.
Jack tries to smooth it over with Ullman, right? Says, oh, we'll be fine, reading, writing, puzzles for Danny, snowshoeing.
Yeah. He even stresses he's sober, 14 months sober at that point, trying to project competence.
But Ullman just cuts through that. His description of how cut off they become, it's chilling.
Totally. A snowmobile takes an hour and a half to get to the nearest town. Sidewinder, a helicopter, 3 hours if the weather's perfect.
And if there's a blizzard.
Forget it. Impossible. Completely cut off.
That detail just hangs there, doesn't it? It perfectly sets up the intense, trapped feeling that's coming. No escape.
Which brings us to the big question. Why Jack? Why is he the one the hotel seems to target so effectively? It's because the Overlook, it's like it sniffs out his weaknesses, his personal demons, and uses them.
His past.
Exactly. Losing his teaching job at Stovington Prep for attacking a student, George Hatfield. He saw red, he said.
Yeah.
His alcoholism. Even though he's sober, that shadow is always there, right? A constant struggle.
And the worst part.
The incident with Danny.
Yeah.
Breaking his 3-year-old son's arm in a rage because Danny spilled beer on his manuscript.
Just horrific.
It is. And these aren't just backstory details. King uses them to show how Jack's vulnerabilities, the rage, the addiction, maybe even echoing family patterns of abuse, make him perfect prey. The Overlook finds this blueprint for breaking him, you could say, and it just speeds everything up, uses his own history against him.
A blueprint for a breakdown. That's a really describing way to put it. Okay, so amidst all this darkness gathering around Jack, there's another kind of power in the hotel, a very different one. Danny's gift, the shine.
Right. The thing the Overlook seems to both fear and maybe want.
Danny's this quiet kid, really observant, and his abilities are clear early on. There's Tony.
His imaginary friend, who isn't so imaginary.
Yeah. Not really. Tony shows him things. Used to be good things, but now mostly nightmares. And he's telepathic. He knows what his parents are thinking, even stuff they don't say out loud, like the word divorce.
Yeah. And he sees things before they happen, predicts rain, finds lost keys, that kind of thing.
It's this intense mix. Telepathy, seeing the future, sensing spirits, that's a heavy load for a little kid, especially trapped there.
And crucially, he's not the only one. This is where Dick Halloran comes in, the Overlook's cook.
He has the shine, too.
He does. Their meeting is such a key moment. Like fate, King writes, a shine knows a shine. There's this instant connection.
Halloran gets it. He sees Danny's power.
And he gives him a warning, kind of downplaying it almost, but it's serious, about the hotel's bad things.
Calls them leftover bits, like fingernail clippings or boogers.
Yeah, weirdly mundane, isn't it? Maybe trying to make it less scary for Danny. But he's very specific about one thing.
Yeah.
Stay out of room 217.
Oh, yeah. That warning just echoes, doesn't it? It sets up this awful dread. And it doesn't take long for those bad things to show up. Room 217. Danny has this terrifying encounter there with Mrs. Massey.
The dead woman in the bathtub.
Yeah. He describes her as bloated and purple, reaching for him. It's not just the bad dream. It feels horribly real to him, leaves him traumatized.
And we find out this isn't, like, new. Watson, the maintenance guy, he talks about Mrs. Massey dying in there before, and about a chambermaid who saw something later and had a breakdown. Ullman just fired her for talking about it.
Swept it under the rug. The hotel protects its secrets.
Seems like it. And it's not just the rooms. Even the grounds feel wrong.
Yeah.
Those hedge animals.
The topiary.
Right. Danny sees them moving, changing positions when he's not looking directly at them.
Creepy. Like the whole place is alive and watching.
Exactly. A shifting, malevolent environment.
So Danny's seeing ghosts. The hedges are moving. How do the adults handle this? Initially, anyway.
Well, mostly with disbelief.
Yeah.
Skepticism. You know, the typical adult reaction to things they can't explain.
Right. Like the doctor, Edmonds, the one who sees Danny after he gets stung by wasps.
Yeah. He just dismisses Tony as, like, Danny's subconscious working things out logically. A coping mechanism. Wendy doesn't quite buy it, but she keeps to herself.
And here's the really tragic part, maybe. Wendy's own fears about Jack. Her mother's prophecy about his temper, the violence.
And makes her blame him.
Yeah. She connects Danny's terror, the family stress, all of it back to Jack's instability, even when something else, something supernatural, is clearly happening.
And that misunderstanding is critical. It leaves them vulnerable because they're not seeing the real enemy. They're focused internally on Jack, while the hotel itself is the predator.
Such a powerful dynamic, blinding them to the true threat. Okay, so winter closes in, the isolation becomes real, and the Overlook tightens its grip, especially on Jack.
Definitely. He gets obsessed with the hotel's history. Finds that scrapbook in the basement.
Full of old clippings.
Right. About Derwent's huge renovation, about an unsolved mob hit the Ginelli murder right there in the presidential suite. Dark stuff.
And Jack decides he's going to write a book about it all.
Yeah, he sees it as his big comeback, his masterpiece. But the hotel, it twists that ambition. It starts using his own resentments, his pride, his past failures against him. It's not just providing material. It's actively corrupting him through his work.
It's sinister how it does that, how it actively works on him.
It really is. Remember the hedge animals moving for Danny? Now they come alive for Jack, snarling, blocking his path.
He thinks it's hallucinations, right? The DTs.
Yeah, delirium tremens from alcohol withdrawal, or so he tells himself. It brilliantly blurs the line. Is it withdrawal or is the hotel attacking him? Or both.
And then there's Lloyd, the bartender.
Appearing in the empty Colorado lounge, offering Jack drinks, phantom drinks, testing his sobriety, chipping away at it.
The hotel is amplifying all his negative feelings. His anger at Ullman, at Shockley.
At Wendy and Danny, he starts seeing them as obstacles. Hostages to fortune, he calls them, holding him back from his real purpose.
Which is becoming
What?
serving the hotel.
It seems that way. It's like it's rewriting his personality. Is it possession? Is it just pushing him into a psychotic break?
Yeah.
The lines get incredibly blurry. It's weaponizing his own mind against him.
That's terrifying. And you see how far gone he is when he starts having thoughts about hurting them.
Yes. And then he actually does something. He takes the Magneto out of the snowmobile.
Trapping them there for good. No escape possible now.
He's actively ensuring their isolation, their helplessness. He even starts thinking the hotel windows are eyes, watching him.
Judging him.
Exactly. His family becomes just background noise, distractions from his true work. He's not really Jack Torrance anymore, is he? He's becoming an agent of the Overlook.
An extension of its will. Chilling.
But while Jack is falling apart or being taken over, Wendy is doing the opposite. She's fighting back.
It's such a stark contrast.
It really is. She's running on pure instinct.
Hmm.
That primal mother drive, King calls it. She sees Jack changing, sees the danger, and she reacts.
Physically confronts him.
Yeah. Hits him with a wine bottle at one point. Later, she even slashes at him with a razor blade to keep him away from Danny.
Wow.
Despite being terrified, despite her own history with him, she represents this immediate physical resistance. She might not understand the shine or the ghosts, but she understands the threat to her son, right here, right now.
She's fighting for survival.
Absolutely. A raw human fight against this inhuman force that's consuming her husband.
Incredible bravery. Okay, let's step outside the hotel walls for a second. Dick Halloran. He senses something is terribly wrong, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he gets this powerful feeling, this compulsion, all the way down in Florida. He knows Danny is in serious trouble.
So he heads back into a blizzard.
A treacherous journey. Driving through that storm, nearly crashing his car, then the snowmobile. It's a battle against the elements, maybe against Hotel's influence trying to stop him too.
He feels fear, that yaller stripe, as he calls it, but he keeps going.
His sense of duty to Danny overrides it. And it just highlights how powerful the Overlook is, how feared it is. Even the locals know it has a bad reputation. They stay clear.
So Halloran arrives, but inside, things are reaching the climax.
Total terror. Jack is fully gone now. The hotel's agent, hunting Danny through the corridors with a roque mallet.
That mallet is such a weirdly specific, terrifying weapon.
It is. But Danny, he shows incredible courage. He confronts Jack, calls him a false face.
He sees it's not his dad anymore.
Right. He understands it's the hotel wearing his father's face, and then, almost ironically, the hotel destroys itself. The boiler.
The one Watson kept warning Jack about all winter, the pressure creeping up.
That's the one. It explodes. The whole place goes up in flames, consuming the structure that held all that evil.
But like you said earlier, destroying the building doesn't mean the evil is gone.
Not necessarily.
So what happens to the survivors? We get glimpses from both books.
Yeah. We do. Jack dies in the explosion, trying to vent the boiler at the last second. The official report calls it heroic, trying to save the hotel.
The irony.
Huge irony. Wendy, Danny, and Halloran just barely make it out. Wendy gets pretty bad facial injuries, though.
Yeah.
Physical scars to go with the mental ones.
A permanent reminder.
Definitely. And looking ahead, years later, Dr. Sleep territory, the impact is still there. Danny's living in Florida with Wendy, but he still has the shine.
It doesn't just go away.
No. Tony warns him about going into their bathroom one time because Mrs. Massey is there, still lingering. A psychic echo.
Wow. So the ghosts or the trauma followed them.
It seems so. But Halloran is still around too, thankfully, a comforting figure for Danny. He tells him simple stories about pink whales, little bits of normalcy, of healing.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it shows survival is possible, but the trauma leaves this long shadow. The psychic abilities, the scars, they persist. The story about enduring that, about the long fight after the immediate danger is over.
What a journey through that place. It's terrifying, obviously, but like you said, it touches on such deep themes about us, about evil. We've seen how a place can almost breathe, how addiction and trauma make you vulnerable, how a gift like the shine is both amazing and terrifying. So as we finish up, here's something maybe for you to think about. What is it about certain places, or maybe even scarier, certain parts of ourselves that can attract or amplify such darkness, such fear, such malevolence? Does it linger even when the walls are gone? Is the evil in the place, or is it something we bring inside with us that the place just reflects back?
That's the core question, isn't it? The Overlook, it's more than just haunted. It's like this crucible where all our human weak spots, addiction, anger, fear, even ambition, get turned up to 11 and used as weapons. Our deep dive really shows that sometimes the monsters aren't just spirits floating around. Sometimes they're reflections of our own unresolved issues, our own pasts, given power by something else. So the challenge becomes, how do you tell the difference between the supernatural evil and the psychological darkness? And maybe more importantly, how do you escape either one, especially when they're so tangled together? What does it take to truly heal from trauma that leaves echoes not just in your mind, but maybe somewhere else too? Something to chew on until our next deep dive.